Hey, Marc Labelle, John Notto, how you guys doing, man? Great to see you again.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. It's been a little bit since we were honored enough to have been in a band opening up for you the last time you played here in Reno. I don't know if
Oh
you
yeah,
recall that particular night, but my hair
I
is
do recall that night.
Oh yeah, dude.
We accidentally broke a bunch of stuff backstage. What did I broke something. I think I broke like a huge glass vase, and
Yes.
Wow,
you don't remember that?
No.
Yeah, I got glass everywhere.
That was the place where it was like in a corner, like just on kind of a platform, but like a
Yeah.
cool bar, kind of beer bar kind of hang. Yeah, I remember that.
Exactly.
I talked to your drummer a lot.
Yeah, Toast. Toast.
Yeah, Toast, dude.
Yeah, Toast used to gig around with the White Snake guys for a long time.
And he used to tech for the Guns guy.
Yeah. I think he worked for Sorum for a bit. He also did the tour, the reunion tour for the Police, and worked as Stuart Copeland's drum tech. I mean, that's intimidation in a big kind of way, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure those guys don't take any fuss.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Hey, to deal with each other.
Congrats on the new album released, aptly titled "Dirty Honey," available wherever you steal music, I guess.
Yeah.
There's an interesting Wikipedia entry, and Mark, I've heard you talk a little bit about this, but for just giggles, for people who are just discovering the band, tell me about the unique way you decided on Dirty Honey regarding the name of the band. Have you always been a Robert Plant and Led Zeppelin fan?
I'd always been a fan of Led Zeppelin, obviously, and all the classic rockers. But yeah, we had this bag of we had this list in our iPhone notes of band names. Most of them were horrible, and Dirty Honey'd been in there for a while. And when
we kind of missed it,
we missed it.
Yeah.
We just, you get caught up in all of there's just so many of them. And then I remember when he was getting interviewed by Howard Stern, and they were talking about the Honey Drippers, and I was like, we definitely have a something dirty about honey. And then we went back, and we were actually at a gig that night, and I was like, we have to decide on the band name, and we went back to that, and it was the only thing we all agreed on instantly.
So
we were all like, yeah, and he was like, I showed you guys this before. We're like, I don't remember.
So let me ask you, out of all these horrible band names, and we all think of them, right? What is the worst band name that made you guys all chuckle, and you said, well, it'd be great to go out as that, but no one would take us seriously? Can you recall?
I wish I had that list.
Yeah, somewhere.
John had a bunch that he was doing where you would connect two band names of very famous bands.
Yeah.
It's two band names where you can use one of the word for both. So Florence Against the Machine, for example, but it's like a tribute thing where they have to play the music of only those two bands.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And I have a whole list of what inappropriate punk band names too. But that's for another podcast, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, so, 10 years ago, I would think it would be damn near impossible to achieve the level of success that you guys have done in the past couple of years. Not being able to utilize big record label funding and marketing, and without platforms like YouTube and Facebook. Do you think that would have been possible 10 years ago for you guys to be able to, have such a great product and get it out to so many people without having a major record label behind you?
To answer your question, I don't think it would have been possible. I just think the digital era has made it easier to share and discover stuff. But at the same time, I think the labels and stuff for a long time did a really good job of filtering out bad stuff and helping the cream rise. What's become troubling now is there's really no money to help bands develop. I mean, a lot of the bands that we love didn't really make it until their third record. You need those first three to develop. And that's where our time without anybody caring, helped us get to where we are. You're doing the work without anybody noticing. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't know. I don't think it would have been possible. It's just too hard to get discovered without those mediums,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of crap out there for sure, unfortunately. And but they say that, the cream always rises to the top, and COVID has screwed up everything, especially for a new band like you guys that are trying to develop without the benefit of touring and going out and playing in front of people. And it also screwed up your plans to go to Australia and record your debut album there. If you had gone with the original plan to Australia, I'm curious, why Australia, and who would have produced the record? Would it still have been Mark?
Well, it was Nick Didia.
Or Nick, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we went to Australia, was because he lives there now, even though he's an American. The album would have been, it would have had some of the big bangers that we already had, but we were able to, write more because of the fact that it got put off schedule-wise.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question, but.
Well, so in hindsight, it was probably a good thing that you guys were able to kind of nest a little bit and hash out some ideas.
The record is the one thing that's very happy about the quarantine. The record itself, if it could talk, because it grew up, and we got tighter as a band, and we got, we went into the studio extremely excited and comfortable with the material.
Right.
It was pretty. Apart from the excitement, was 180 from the other experience. The EP, the first one with Nick going to Australia, there was like we got to finish some of these songs kind of vibe,
Pressure, that type of pressure, I guess, is nice when you don't necessarily have the pressure of a deadline.
I love the pressure, honestly. I don't always. It frustrates the hell out of me, but I do love having a deadline for whatever reason. It definitely motivates me.
I think we thrive better with a. Yeah. I mean, I always did my homework the day before it was due. So it's just that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's cool. Thankfully touring is starting to come back, and you got a first big leg with one of my other favorite bands that I've discovered it. And I actually checked them out for the first time back in February of 2020 down in Vegas, Joyous Wolf. Their front man is absolutely insane. One of the coolest front men I've ever watched. Were you already familiar with Joyous Wolf? Were they buds, or was this a management suggestion to take these guys out with you, or how'd that all come about?
Well, for this round, it was a management label connection. Our manager
that set up this tour, I guess, but we've definitely been aware and familiar with their stuff for a while. And I know John's been in touch with the guitar player for quite some time.
Yeah, we're friendly, and I know Justin is too. And people just, say that it would be a good fit. And we've actually tried to do this before. But strangely enough, my own personal story, I think before they even got signed, a random friend that I know in LA had actually invited me to he's like, hey man, you should come down to SIR. There's this band showcasing. It was like the private, and it was them. And so I kind of saw them before they got signed in a private show. I don't even think they know that. I didn't know them. I didn't introduce myself. And I think I had to leave early, but I saw them. And I remember, I think his name's Nick, the singer. And I remember then he had an intensity that was, for real.
Pretty cool. Yeah. That's going
to be like splits and stuff. He's like, it's like the James Brown split. I love it.
Absolutely. And that's going to be a great tour. I'm kind of concerned. Being, kind of a double West Coast bill. And I know, Mark, you're originally from New York, but why no West Coast dates on the first leg of the tour?
Well, I mean, we're at the mercy of the state legislators, I guess, and their decisions to open or not open. So trust me, we will definitely, you'll get some news very soon that I think you'll be excited about.
And this is the California Dreamin' Tour. It's for those who can only dream about being in California.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, if you guys need a place to rehearse, my singer just, and this is kind of top secret stuff, but he just purchased for about $2 million a beautiful rehearsal facility here in Reno.
$2 million?
Yeah.
$2 million, dude. What's he?
It's it's a series. It's a massive warehouse. It has about 90 different rehearsal rooms in it. that all are soundproof and HVAC and the whole 9 yards. But as part of it,
Wow.
he has a stage set up with full PA and state-of-the-art lighting systems and digital cameras and a whole video production suite.
Man, that beats the place we rented. They didn't have HVAC.
Yeah, we were in basically a
hot box.
A hot box that was about 10 by 20 square feet and didn't have anything. It was just 4 walls.
Yeah. It was just enclosed. That's about it.
Was it like a storage
facility
facility?
there. We had to stop. Yeah, we rented this rehearsal facility for a little while. Even though we have a spot, we had to my housemates were concerned about COVID and stuff, so we rented the spot.
Yeah.
And we had to give it up because he couldn't even sing after a while. Because if you turn the PA up enough, it just fed back. It was terrible.
Yeah. Well, maybe on your trek to start the tour, you can, spend a couple of days here and be near the Truckee River and enjoy Lake Tahoe, getting the right vibe. And
it's funny.
Tahoe, man.
We were just talking about going up and camping in Mammoth and then going up to Tahoe even further. And man, that sounds like a dream right now.
Well,
I'll get to see Tahoe.
I'll make sure to have your management hook up with Maddie. Maybe you can work something out.
We'll get one of those nice $50 flights up and spend a week there and rehearse for free. Hopefully.
There you go.
Maybe you know somebody who can help us with that.
Absolutely. Now let me ask you, what, if anything, did you guys learn working with big dogs like opening for Guns N' Roses and The Who, and as show openers, was there any great advice that you guys took away from those unique experiences, or was it just kind of an oh wow, and the bands had their area and you had your area and it was one and done?
There was some of that of the latter, but I think more than anything, if you're paying attention, especially to somebody like Slash, who is really doing it at a high level and has been doing it at a high level for, literally our entire lives. It all stems from passion. And if, I can tell he's doing it for the right reasons. He wants to be there. He loves performing live, and, he's a true artist in that way. And, if the passion falls out for whatever reason, I think you can really sense the people that are on autopilot doing it for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you just hope that flame burns as bright as it is for somebody like Slash for as long as it has been and continues to do so.
I'll say Mark Tremonti on the opposite side was more direct about his tutelage. He took a liking to us, and I mean, he was always asking me to come in and shred licks with him before his set. And he had his whole practice break, but he'd also be like, "What are you guys doing? Let's go eat. Come sit with me."
Oh, cool.
And he just all the time. And he was always like, "So when are you guys going to play to Europe? You got to get to Europe. Here's what you got to do." And then we'd ask him, old Creed stories, and he'd tell us some of those. And he always had a lesson in it. And it was pretty great.
We did some work with them at South Lake Tahoe, and that's a really well-oiled machine. That touring, the way that they go out on the road and support each other, and it just kind of works like clockwork. They're top-notch pros. Unlike Greta Van Fleet, which, by the way, are outstanding musicians. I love what they do, but sometimes they draw a little bit too much on their musical influences. Dirty Honey has got a sound that is unique, but definitely kind of a familiar sound. What one band would you say had the biggest influence on your songwriting, or maybe a band that when you were a kid, you were like, I want to emulate this?
I think it's probably different for each member.
Yeah.
And I think that's why that happens. To your point, where it's, it's reminiscent of a lot of things, but it's not one thing. And, if I come in with a vocal idea or riff or something, John is going to put his spin on it that maybe he throws a little Brian May influence in there or something, that just makes it different. I'm just throwing something out there, but and Corey definitely has his influences. They're way out of left field. From time to time.
If he used to name his influences, it'd be like real influences. 80%, 90% of it would be drummers, phenomenal drummers, but we haven't heard of them, like jazz fusion guys,
Okay.
So, but I think that brings that extra uniqueness to it. He's still playing rock,
Yeah.
but he's not practicing the same thing that all the other rock drummers are practicing.
Right.
So that there's a twist there. And
It's very Charlie Watts, honestly, and
Yeah.
his influence on the Rolling Stones. Like, he was a jazz cat that is playing rock and roll, and I don't think if he goes and
Half
puts
the
on
time, I
records,
believe.
he doesn't put on like old blues stuff. He puts on jazz, and
yeah.
there's a lot of weird like snare hits, weirdly timed stuff in Rolling Stone songs that are iconic. I think it's the Phil and Honky Tonk Women, and there's just some weird stuff that he does that's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's his jazz influence that sets
That's
it
very
up.
cool. What would somebody be surprised to know about you, Mark, and you, John, your guilty musical pleasure outside of the rock genre?
I am definitely not above a good pop song. But I do preface that with like, I love soulful singers with a personality, and whether that's someone like Adele or Ray LaMontagne, I can appreciate their voice more than anything. And especially because it's very unique sounding and it's full of personality and emotion. That's usually what I'm looking for when I fall in love with a singer. And that's everybody from, like I said, Adele and Ray LaMontagne to Chris Cornell and Axl Rose, you know?
Yeah, they've all, I think a commonality amongst all of those is they've got a great method of interpreting the lyrics, and they're great storytellers, right? Because you can hear some songs that have been covered by a bunch of different people, and some people knock it out of the park. And sometimes the original writer of the song isn't the best performance of a song that you might have heard. And, that's kind of the Nashville scene, right? There's a lot of songwriters who give their songs to other people to purchase, and they make the publishing on it. But these other people can interpret the lyrics a little bit better for some weird reason.
Yeah, and they can like connect with you through their voice on some weird level.
Yeah.
It's very strange when you ISO it. I love listening to, on YouTube, you can listen to pretty much any singer's ISO of the vocal take. It's really, that stuff is so interesting to me to listen to.
Yeah. And John, how about you?
Well, I like the term the guilty pleasure. For sure, the guiltiest pleasure I have is like I can listen to some Celine Dion ballads, dude.
No kidding.
And I can do the big. I actually made it's not exclusively Celine Dion, but I made like this Spotify playlist that's like all the female power ballads that ruled from like the 80s, 90s. I'm a sucker for those big, powerful songs. Yeah. I think that also rock bands are, and like when you think about it, like what's Aerosmith's biggest hit? It's a ballad. Guns N' Roses' biggest hits, ballad. Queen's biggest hit, ballad. There's only a few bands where their big hits sort of weren't, rock bands. So I think there's a symmetry there. You got space to be passionate and use the sound of the electric guitar the way it can soar, kind of thing. Of course, you risk cheese big time. You got to do it right, but
stay away from the cheese. That's,
I think we've done it twice now really well. Personally, if I may comment on myself,
I would agree. Okay, one last question for you, and this one to both of you, but John probably a little more so than Mark. Fender or Gibson? And I know that
Gibson.
I see Les Pauls all the time.
Yep.
But they're definitely different sounds. Have you ever had a song that you went, man, just there's something about a Strat that
yes, actually
better on this song?
Actually, I originally put Strat on the first take of Down the Road, but somebody demanded I take it off. It was just, we did a lot more experimentation on the first EP. We actually had more time. I know we spoke of pressure, but we literally had more time.
Yeah. So
I got to be like, well, why don't we check this out? Why don't we put these two guitars together? And on that one, we did Strat for a bit, but we ended up ixnaying it. It was a good choice. It is a less powerful sound, but it's obviously a different sound.
Yeah.
I think we did use a Telly for something on this LP.
Yes, we used a 50s Telly for the solo on Tied Up. Yep.
Very cool. Right on. Well, Mark and John, it's great to see you guys, and I'm looking forward to the announcement for leg 2, I guess, of the tour.
It's a good one. Stay tuned. A week from today, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not going to hate it.
Cool. Great to see you guys, man. And we'll catch up soon. We'll see you out on the
You
road.
too, man. It's a pleasure. Keep rocking too. Enjoy that new space.
Will do, man. See you later.
See you, man.